There's still a morning ride on a midweek, Delta Television, the People's Pride, about time to take you on another interesting beat, and this is on the transport sector. This is 2021, and it's a good thing we have the Honorable Commissioner joining us in the studio. Yes, he is no other than Honorable Oviemuno Oghoore. Pleasure to have you join us, sir. Francis?
Good morning, sir, and you're welcome to Morning Ride this morning. Okay, we have a little ritual here. When you come here, you tell us so far how good. What are the activities of the Transport Ministry in Delta State so far?
Especially this 2021. I know it's not much, it's challenging.
Yes, for 2021, the airport is the concession of the airport.
Okay.
Yes, which is one of the major strengths of the current administration. Having built the airport since past administration, there has been a lot of ups and downs. Today they say the airport is downgraded, but I can say critical to the man that the airport has been taken to the highest category in the country, and one of the first to have this kind of concession. And the concession is going to bring a lot to Delta State and Nigeria, a lot of job, a lot of infrastructure development around the airport, in terms of having a business sitting in the airport, improvement in the cargo terminal, an expansion of the airport generally. So, by and large, the concession of the airport is going to increase for many revenue.
Okay, so for like, let's see, about another 3 months, we'll see booming or
3 months, 3 years, 3 years, 3 years, you see, 3 years, man.
3 years.
It says 100 million naira
yes,
yearly.
Yes, annually.
How long would this be?
I think the airport is concession for 30 years.
30 years.
30 years. And, as soon as the agreements are signed, 1 billion will be paid to the make offers. One lump sum of 1 billion.
1 billion?
Yes, will be paid to the government. So you can
That's
see
a tall
that,
one.
Yeah, it is. And,
So away from the concessioning of the airport, what other area do you think is also remarkable this year, 2021, in the transport sector?
you can see what has been constructed and been commissioned as part of the transport sector. And, today, we need to feel new vibes in the city, new routes to be connected. What's it called? The LA road has been commissioned. You know how long that road government. Yes. But finally it has been commissioned. Not just commissioned, a lot of work has been done there. Perennial flooding that normally, cause a lot of problems to the road. Not there anymore because of the storm drainages that have been completed on that road. And you agree with me that the delivery of goods and services will be on time, henceforth.
Will be very smooth there. And then traffic flow as well will also be smooth.
Maybe zero totally decongested because of that road at the moment.
Okay, so that means His Excellency, not just the roadmaster, also the bridge.
The bridge master. A new name from Basaki.
It's amazing.
The name that will come up with too many because it's touching every facet of the economy.
And what's your thoughts on, when I was actually going through the papers, I noticed the governor of Edo State commissioned some of these projects. Now, what does that mean for Delta and Edo, in terms of politics? Now, we do know that both PDP, great similarities, but what does this mean for the politics of twin states, I'd say, Edo and Delta State?
Yeah, it means a lot. It means integration. It means friendship, and it means
Development.
Development. So it means a lot to us.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to ask this question. to be sure and to be precise, does the Ministry of Transport in Delta State have any kind of influence on commercial riders in the state?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Okay, what's up with the whole conversation about restriction of tricycles in certain areas of the state? Can you put us into more light on that area?
Yes, essentially is just within the government house area. You and I know that government house is the seat of power, and a lot is in there. And if you are concerned with the whole area, you understand that. Lately, the Keke Rider decided to, use that as a connecting route in terms of trying to avoid police harassment and all that. So, and government felt it's not healthy in terms of security. That's just the reason. Security-wise, it's not healthy for anybody because if you go by what happened during the NSAS carnage, you know that.
So it was a security.
Yes.
All right. Still talking about the commercial riders. Let's talk particularly about tricycle riders. We know them more as Keke riders. A couple of months ago, there was a protest about double taxation on these Keke riders. They had issues. They came up saying that they have been taxed by several tax forces group, and it was becoming too much for them. Now, I did a little research on you, and I saw the passion that you had one time when you addressed tax force agents, DESMA agents about civility on motorists and tax force and commercial riders. So what is done about the double taxation and the general treatment of these tricycle riders right here in Delta State?
Okay.
That's a double-barreled question.
Triple-barreled question.
First, when we see double taxation, sometimes we find it very difficult because the Keke Union, they regulate themselves. They have an internal tax force, designed so that you don't have to have this friction between them and government. So it was an agreed thing that for them to function very well and to obey government regulations, they need their internal tax force. Do you understand? So which government decided for them to have their own tax force. So that is the tax force. And I must say it here that when COVID-19 came, and the issue of COVID-19 protocol for transportation came, all of them were asked to carry 2 passengers only. And they come and say that carrying 2 passengers a day and at a time will not make them miss profit. Have profit to be able to pay government taxes and also take care of themselves. And at that point, the government agreed and said, taxes should be reduced to them by 50%.
Okay.
Yes, that they were all happy. So now that was done for them, they went back to their old ways of doing things, throwing away the COVID-19 protocol, carrying as much as 4 passengers, sometimes 5 passengers on a trip. So, and it's very difficult to have these people to enforce those protocols because you can never have enough men to do that.
Sure.
So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is taxes are paid to their own parks and local government and all that. And oftentimes I tell them, if you don't want to be disturbed, if you stick to the right thing, nobody will ask you because most of these tax forces, they are not to collect money. It's just to enforce that you do the right thing. Carry the right number of passengers. Parking where you are supposed to park. That's key because if you don't park the places that you are supposed to park, it means you'll be causing obstruction in other areas. You understand? So once you have found one thing, there's always a penalty to pay. You understand? But we have been discussing, we're having this dialogue with them to say, all of this, you can check it, if only you'll be civil enough to be the right rules and regulations.
They said the traffic...
Okay, let's look at the DESMA, officials. I do know that lately I was actually driving down my Oppenham end and I noticed on a Sunday they were on the road. So I really don't know. Before now, it was basically weekdays. You see them weekdays. Now we see them. Someone said, I heard someone complain on the Sunday again. You have decimal officials on the Sunday again. That's all this.
You go on holidays.
and they're actually busy, nabbing the faulters that very day. So what informed this decision? And could it be that there is a more civility as it relates to the DESMA in terms of carrying out their functions?
Apart from the civil disposition, is a serious upsurge of vehicular traffic in the interstate, especially in the capital city. We don't know which day is a working day, a public holiday, Sunday anymore. And before now, they used to work beyond the normal official time, which is 4 p.m. They work as much as sometimes 8 p.m. Just going to the time where traffic would have subsided. But sometimes they are called. They can be called from their home where there is traffic, traffic jam in a certain area to come is of the traffic. So I think that's what's.
Now, there's another issue. My colleague actually mentioned a bit of that. That has to do with the COVID-19 protocol. However, it is, even if we feel that we're not being sick or that, or we just feel that we're healthy, we never can tell what your status is as of now. No one can actually beef his or her chest to say, well, this is my status, I am COVID-19 free. You say that with a mouth trembling because you're not too sure now. So that's why it's very, very important, that the transport sector, the transport sector should try as much as possible to come up with measures, measures to ensure that drivers or tricycle operators, those that are actually traveling out of the capital city, out of town per se, comply with the protocol, and that has to do with the capacity they carry. Now, the first time it happened, it was obvious that, well, you do not carry beyond the capacity. And even if you want to do that, it should be like half of it. And then there's a way they now put the money, the passengers will pay extra, they pay more. But what I observed the other time I traveled to Oghoore, for instance, Delta Line, I asked the question, do you have to take 3 persons at the back and 3 in the middle? This is the second wave. We don't know who is who. And you say, no, they said, no, you must wear your face mask. With that, you're okay. They can carry 3 at the back and 3 in the middle instead of having 2. And with the fare, still the same. It's not like
increased fare.
Yes, increased fare, no normal fare. So what is the transport sector doing to nip this in the bud, to ensure that they enforce protocol? I know the first time they were serious, even tricycle riders, they were free. They had 2. Even when you want to get in, they tell you no, 2 is just okay. So what will you do differently at this time?
It's to continue enforcement. There's no other way to go about it. It's to continue enforcement and also to encourage the public, especially the commuters, to complain. To kind of sometimes tell them, no, I haven't bought this vehicle. But because we're always in a hurry, it's difficult for the commuters to want to make it.
I think there should be something
If a vehicle that is carrying...
You can have a number.
Yes. And we do have a number.
Okay.
We do have a
so
number.
the number I can call, I can tell them, look, I'm going to call this number.
If you want to make it, but sometimes you can, with your phone, you can just snap.
Okay.
They won't let you snap.
They won't let you snap. Because Mr. Commissioner,
Yes.
I travel very often.
telling
And I
you.
must tell you that
I'm going to commercial buses. When I was coming back from
Not
Mauritius.
cool, yeah.
Recently, in a report from one of our sister stations on radio, the tricycle riders actually complained. They said, it looks like this COVID-19 protocol is being enforced only on us and not on commercial buses who travel, because they carry many passengers, but on us tricycle riders, it's as though we are left alone. So I think that we should be more...
I should think that they are the ones that are not even, being monitored, because severally when I've gone on the highway to stop vehicles coming in from above, from Oghoore, just to ensure that we enforce the protocol.
Well, we Okay, are we not looking at, okay, this one, sir.
Now, the problem is sometimes it's all the commuters because, yes, it's all the commuters because when the driver says, I'm carrying no one passenger, they say, no, please just help me. Come down. You enter. You understand? And you say, no, two at the center, two. They say, no, COVID, yes, COVID. COVID is not here. COVID is not in Nigeria. It's not in Africa, You know, sometimes you see these drivers, they have to make money. And once the people they are carrying, once they are able to compromise, let's go there. Yeah.
What would you say about, constituting a COVID-19 marshals, just like you have the decimal or officials on the road and they're doing that? But don't you think at about this time is important? We don't know if there will be another such.
Yes.
So don't you think there should be COVID-19 marshals? That's what I'm thinking. That's what is actually in my head at this moment.
We have a task force that is going about to do that.
Okay.
And knowing that funding is key. To fund a tax force
that's true.
to ensure people comply is something that takes a lot of work, but we are on it.
Thank you very much, sir.
We're trying to involve all stakeholders in road safety, the DESMA, VIOs, police, civil defense to be able to help in ensuring that compliance is increased.
Now, the tricycle restriction is still on and it's very strong. Someone will ask me, how long would that be for? Is it temporarily or is it for as long as this administration exists, or even when we have the second administration?
No, I think it's going to continue because we've never seen it this way before.
Okay.
The government house area has never been a route for tricycle before.
Okay.
So we feel that if we don't nip it now, it becomes a problem tomorrow, and it will be very, very dangerous for us to put it.
Punitive measures for defaulters?
For defaulters, for now, we're still on sensitization, ensuring that they get used to it before we talk about implementation.
It's a pleasure to have you, Francis.
It's a pleasure to have you. Many more questions, but our time is really up now. We're getting signals.
It's very busy. He said it's very busy. I will let him go. Thank you for finding time. I miss your tight schedule to be here, and we want you to come again for more updates. We've been speaking with the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Transport, Delta State, telling us so much about the transport sector and doing it in his own style. Don't worry, he comes again to share with us more updates. Stay with us, but we'll certainly take you on another scope.